Hello, hello. This is Pascaline back again at the Native Radio, and today I am joined with the most amazing filmmaker in town. Guess what? The best actress, the one uprising, and the most talented human being. Hello, hi, Chi. How are you?
Hello.
You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good. That was a
question. Did I say your name right first?
You did say my name right. Chi.
Chi. Yeah. Does it have a special meaning?
It does. It means I look up to God.
Oh, damn. So you're Igbo.
I am Igbo.
Yeah. Fully Igbo or just half, you know?
Fully Igbo. Yeah.
So where does the accent come from?
I grew up in the UK and Saudi Arabia, but the accent comes from, growing up in the UK. Yeah.
Amazing. That takes me to the new film that you just released. Actually, it's not new. It's been there. When did you release the film?
It came out at the end of July.
This year?
Yes, this year.
And guess what, guys? It's on BBC iPlayer and it's called I Am Igbo. So can you take me through a little bit behind Igbo? Like why the name? Mm-hmm. How did it come to be? And
Yeah, sure. It's funny because you introduced me as an actress and
as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I think I'm in the filmmaker
section more than the acting side.
Well, I kind of want to try it all. So.
But you're the face of the film itself. So I would say you're doing both of them. Like you're an actress and at the same time you're the filmmaker.
A filmmaker and host, I would guess, like the host, because I was kind of like guiding the audience through the journey. Mm-hmm. So like TV host, producer, writer, and then there's like the actress bubble. But I'm still trying to like do stuff in that space. But anyway, so you asked me how the film came about and the title.
What's the story behind it? Why I Am Igbo specifically?
Yeah, sure. So the title, I Am Igbo. I wanted the title of the film to be almost like an affirmation. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just a really cool, memorable thing. Like, I am Igbo.
So funny enough, before you even started like writing the song, what inspired you?
The song?
No, oh my God, this is so bad. How did you even get to the song first? Because you just released a new song anyway. But no, we're going to go to that after. So what inspired like the stories that you had? Because I also saw through the film that you actually screened recently with Watch Africa. Yeah. How did that make you feel with the production process?
It felt good to see. That was our first cinema screening. So our first like official theatre screening. And the turnout was far better than we expected actually. A lot of people came, a lot of people showed up to support and that was really special. We're hoping to do more, rolling out to London and actually outside of the UK as well to take it abroad. Yeah.
And the highlight of it was you having your dad as part of the film.
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight, but there were also many highlights. It was really special being able to do that with both of my parents, but my dad in particular, because he's older than my mum. My dad was a teenager during the Nigerian Civil War, and he has so many stories, so many experiences, and I think it's such a shame sometimes that these stories are not captured in one place. Everyone holds them individually, and I always say around the time when Nigerian Independence Day comes around or the anniversary of the Civil War comes around, I spend so much time on social media just scrolling through the comment section looking at the experiences of people who have an uncle or an auntie, a mother, a father, someone who lived during that time and who has a unique, moving story. And there's just like pockets of information because it's, the Civil War isn't something that is widely and openly discussed or even encouraged in Nigeria as a discussion point or as a subject in schools.
Mostly the African scene, like it's kind of, you don't speak about it as much, but it's mostly like when you go to a history class, that's when you actually get the information, but you don't get to live through it in a film. So How does that make you feel when you have it out there? What's the reaction from the public, from the Igbo community, from the culture itself?
How does that make me feel? It makes me feel good. Good in the sense that it makes me feel like I've done something that is bigger than me, and done something that's bigger than, like, you know, just having fun making a film. I actually didn't realize how significant and how much it would represent to certain people. Like, there's just been so many interesting people that have DM'd me. Like, the other day there was a Welsh lady that messaged me on Instagram, and she's just married an Igbo man in Wales, and she was saying that the documentary allowed her to understand that part of his history a bit better, because he didn't always have the sort of language or the capacity or the or was sort of like emotionally available to share you know, a bit about that past, because I think his parents were really impacted by it, and therefore I think it was you know, created a lot of trauma for them and their family. And so even getting a message like that from, you know, someone who is outside of the culture but marrying into the culture, really special. And then another message from a guy who said that, similar to us, his parents never really spoke about the Nigerian civil war so openly, and he sat down and watched the documentary with his dad, and that was actually an opening for that conversation between them to happen for the first time ever. And so he was saying, like, you know, this was a life-changing moment because finally he felt that he had some breakthrough. And so just getting messages like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is,
yeah, it's something very receptive and very
it's so I can't really describe it. Like, it's, yeah, it feels impactful.
Oh, amazing. That's really good. I watched the film myself, and I felt through the process that I thought for a minute I belonged to the Igbo community. But funny enough, I think it's because we correlate with it, with the stories that goes behind it as an African. And therefore, from the film, give me 3 best parts from the film. In like very short description.
Okay. Do you mean like three highlights or 3?
It's more like from when you started shooting the film to the end. What were the most like interesting parts for you to film?
Even though we didn't shoot it, I think at the start of the film, where you see the like plethora of archives from that time, you know, like black and white footage. I always find it so interesting seeing images and seeing footage of that time, and I'm always thinking, like, okay, what happened to that person? Where is this person? You know, what? Just actually seeing people and how they were living, and images of the war. I find that very moving. And then a second one is filming with the Iwobi family in Swansea. Particularly filming with 93-year-old Leatrice. She is, such a remarkable person. She moved to Igbo land in the 1950s, married an Igbo man. The war broke out. She was supporting the Biafra efforts, and it became unsafe for her to stay. So her husband advised her to leave Nigeria with the children. She is fluent in Igbo. She writes gospel hymns in Igbo. She sings in Igbo, and so she sang a song for us,
really
which we weren't able to squeeze into the documentary, which is a shame. But yeah, she was just such a like.
Maybe we should make it like longer. Add to the next part of the film.
Yeah,
and you can actually add like a mini song in that in Igbo or Igbo.
I would love to do
Igbo.
that. I would love to do that. Yeah.
And the last part of the film.
And the last bit, I really enjoyed filming at the Igbo school. I think Mo Jana, who is the director of the film, shout out to Mo. Mo's always like, I love old people and I love young people, and then everyone in between he doesn't really care for too much. But he's like, the biggest lessons are from like old people and young people. And so filming at the Igbo school was really cool because that was their first in-person meeting.
Yeah.
And we had no idea that it existed, and I also think it's really interesting, just when you think about it, that it takes one person to think of an initiative and to just implement it,
Bring it to life, yeah.
and bring it to life, and suddenly there's an Igbo school in Wales. This guy had kids, and he wanted to, make sure that his kids understood Igbo and were preserving their language and their sense of affinity to their culture. And then he thought to himself, I can make this wider. I'm sure there are other families that are wanting to do this as well. And so he made it a thing. I really respect that. And I think it's really important. And also, it's not just for kids at all. It's also for adults who didn't get the opportunity to learn their language, but now want to learn and be a part of it, and also for Welsh, for people in Wales or even outside of Wales, basically just anyone who's interested in learning about culture and language.
And I think the fact that you actually showed up for the screening, that was very impactful as well, to actually see it in like big screen, and that was really cool. I like it.
Yeah. He came from London. He like rearranged his whole day to make sure that he made the screening. So that was cool.
And I think that is very important because it makes like an inspiration to younger generations, understanding that filmmaking and also celebrating the African heritage is really important.
Yeah.
It goes way beyond what we can see on a daily basis.
Yes.
Okay, that's really amazing. I really appreciate that. Talk me through the process of, like, was there any financial constraints when you're making the film? First of all, you wrote the entire film yourself.
Yeah.
And then you sat down and say, "Oh, can we just shoot this film?" Or
so I wrote the concept. Mm-hmm. So I had the concept in mind, and I knew, and the story. Like I knew that there was a story behind it. Go. Mm-hmm. And then I pitched that, and then we managed to, when the BBC decided to take it on, they were like, "Okay, we can assign you some resource to support you with developing the storyboard and the storyline, and even getting access to the archives." That was all BBC archives.
Oh, that's cool. That's the part we never know. It's the things you have to meet the right people at the right time, and they can like literally bring the film to life. So other than being an actress, a filmmaker and everything in between, any film coming up?
You know what? I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. I would like to.
We should have a part 2 of.
We should have a part 2
because it's like 14 minutes, and everyone was like, "Oh, can it be longer?"
Oh, that was in the screening. That was like the number one piece of feedback. Can you make it longer?
So you look into filming something new or continuation or something?
I definitely want to. I definitely think that I don't even know how we captured that much information in 14 minutes. It's remarkable how much you can get into a short space. But I do want to do longer form content because there was so much that we couldn't include. And it just felt like it was such a shame, and I want to be able to like recycle that in some way. And also not just that, but there were so many themes that we touched on that we didn't get to delve into in like granular depth. And so that definitely opens up the scope for a part 2.
So guys, we'll be looking out for part 2 of Igbo. So definitely, I really want to see that. And you're gonna hate me for this.
What?
Actually have a song on Spotify, and it's just like one song just randomly chilling somewhere. I really want to know, how did you even know you can sing? Anyway, they say everyone can sing except in the shower.
I knew I could sing in the shower. But I still don't actually consider myself a singer in that way. I think I've now like adopted the creative hat. So like, all
the
things,
filmmaker, the writer,
all things like creative,
actress,
all things expression. I'm interested in.
So why the song? Like,
why the song?
Not even why the song. How did you come up with the song? I want to know the story behind the song.
There is a really interesting story behind the song.
Guys, you're ready for this. We want the whole story, nothing but the truth.
The whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah, you don't have to swear Bible.
Yeah, it was okay. So let me think. Where
are we gonna start? Singing from the show.
So
let's go.
Okay, last summer. So we're in 2024, right?
Okay.
This
so
is
2023.
Yeah. So June, July, last summer, 2023. I took my first solo trip to Paris. It was like a semi-solo trip. I went there because I was like, I've never been to Paris. I've been to more countries outside of Europe than I have within. And so I wanted to, do more of that. And I stayed with a friend who she did my master's course with me at Oxford. Actually, she did African studies. I did something else, but great friend. And so it was nice to kind of meet someone and reconnect. And yeah, so when I was there, and the day that I was due to fly back from Paris to the UK, my flight got cancelled. So not delayed, completely cancelled.
Cancelled. So you were in hold till the next day?
Yeah, so I got an extra day in Paris, which I wasn't too mad about, to be honest, because,
Yeah, an extra day in Paris, nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, and I hadn't been out at that point. So I was like, do you know what? I want to experience the nightlife here because why not? Like, I want to go out.
The flight is already cancelled, so I might as well just do something.
Yeah. And I do all these like sort of random solo escapades all the time. And so
this is going to be interesting.
Just went to I asked around. I think I asked a friend of a friend who wasn't in Paris, but he was like, oh, go to this place because they tend to do like good nights. And it was somewhere called, I think it was Cafe Oz. And it was like a rooftops bar / club. And I think they were doing like a throwback night or something like that. But I went alone. And I just got talking to a bunch of people. I met some really cool people. Met a bunch of interesting girls, like really lovely girls. Met someone who worked for like an interesting NGO. And then I met this guy, and he was a paramedic by day.
Interesting.
But a musician by night. And music really is his passion.
Okay.
And we just got talking, and we just like connected on Instagram, and there was no sort of expectation of, I just like connecting with people. And it was funny because the whole time he was like, excuse my English. Because he was kind of
French
speaking
accent.
in like broken English, and he was like, excuse my English. I was like, no, excuse my French. Like, I'm in your country, and my French.
You should be like,
I should be the one speaking to you in French. The only thing I can say in French is like, I know how to order in restaurants and cafes because I'm like, I'm such a foodie. So I know like,
Trust me, mine is
poulet
bad.
and poisson and pain au chocolat, and I can get by in a cafe or restaurant. Anyway, I digress. So we got in touch and just exchanged Instagrams, and that was it. So I eventually go back to the UK. A year passes. I don't even speak to this guy at all.
So this is 1 year down the line now.
Yeah. And by the way, this is not about to be a romance story.
Why are you killing the story before? I was actually like coughing something.
No, because we're actually just friends.
Okay. One broken, one heartbreak. Let's continue.
One heartbreak. And so a year passes, and then one of my friends, a really good friend of mine, she did the same diplomatic studies course with me at Oxford Uni. She got married to a French guy on the outskirts of Paris.
Interesting.
And so she invited me to the wedding, and I was like, okay, isn't this interesting? I'm going to be back in Paris almost exactly a year later. And so I get to Paris, go to the wedding. Oh, sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. Her wedding was around the time of the Olympics.
But that was June.
Yeah, I think like just before. I think it was like around the
June,
time of the Paralympics, I think actually. And so I'm sorry, I'm
curious.
I'm trying to think. And so I asked around. So I hit up everyone that I met in Paris the year before. And I was like, I don't just want to, go to a big old hotel and like stay there by myself. Like I actually want to sort of like feel a bit more integrated and experience like a different side of Paris. And so I messaged around and I was like, does anyone know of any like good Airbnbs and like a decent side of town I can stay in? And I including the guy I messaged
1 year ago.
The
paramedic guys,
right? Mm-hmm. So I messaged him as well. And he was like, I don't know of any good Airbnbs, but if you don't find anywhere, I have a recording studio. And that could be like a cool,
for you to stay in.
Yeah. Recording studio that like doubles up. I think he kind of like does different things with it, that could be like a cool, like a different kind of like experience. Also the part of town where it was like
close by
where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Much better in heaven.
And I was like, okay, cool. Sure, why not? And so I get to Paris, go to the wedding, and then I go to this place, which is the
guy's apartment, their studio.
The studio. The studio.
Okay.
It was just like a really cool experience. Really, it definitely is worth staying with like. I think sometimes when you do these trips, it can feel you can feel like a bit isolated staying in
like an Airbnb or a hotel.
Yeah, I think like your where you stay really does make a difference, because then you also get like local recommendations, like, okay, you should check this place out. Yeah. Make sure you go to this cafe. Make sure you go to, instead of doing
you get more insight into exactly what good places.
Just like authentic places to check out. And I definitely feel that my experience going this summer compared to last summer is completely different because of that. And that was what I wanted. Anyway, so on one of the days, and mind you, like he was actually like working and like recording, mixing sounds and that sort of thing. He's a self-taught sound engineer. And one of the days, I think he like heard me humming.
In the shower, as usual.
No.
He wasn't even in the shower.
No. I was on my way out. Out, like, going somewhere.
So he had you just like.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, like, do you do music or like do you sing? I was like, and jokingly I was like, haha, only in the shower. And he was like, okay, well let's try something. And he was like, who was the last person that you listened to? And I was like, Frank Ocean. Like that's the last person I listened to on,
So he was trying to get into the kind of music that.
Yeah, he was trying to like figure out like what my vibe is, even though I don't have like one genre that I stick. Like I listen to a lot of Lana Del Rey, I listen to a lot of Tupac, I listen to Big Thief. I listen to so many different sounds, but I was like, okay, in this particular point, the last person I listened to was Frank Ocean. So he was like, okay, let me find like sounds right, that are similar to like something. Frank Ocean. And then he was like, okay, let me know when you like one that I arrive at. And I was like, okay, this one's quite nice. And then he was like, okay, well now what you have to do is hum like a rhythm in your mind, right?
Interesting.
And I was like, humming and humming and humming. And it's like, okay, you've got a rhythm. Okay, cool. Now you need to write lyrics to match that rhythm. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the notes on my phone and I was like, what do people write about these days? And I was like, love. Everyone writes about love, I guess. So yeah, I wrote the lyrics in like 5-10 minutes. Like it was very, very short, a very short song. And he was like, okay, now you need to sing the song. And he's one of those people, like you can tell because he rents out his studio to artists in Paris. Who are like, to various artists. And so he knows the steps, I guess. And I guess one of his gifts is like pushing people
to actually
in the right way.
So if I go there, I might be a singer by 6 p.m.
Shout out to Raphael. His name is Raphael.
All right. So all this started from you humming and then listening to one of the Frank Ocean songs. And then next was you just writing the lyrics. away.
Humming, writing the lyrics. And the next thing you know, I've got the headphones on, I'm in front of a microphone and I'm singing the song. and you know what? I was just having fun. Like I just wanted to, like, I'm so open to trying new things. I was just like, it felt like a jam session, you know, we were literally just having a jam session. And and then he was like, okay, now you need to do the ad libs. And so there was always a step, and he's like, now you need to do the harmony. Now you need to harmonize this. Now you need to, and he was like, where do you want to? He gave me like complete free range. Like he wasn't directing me at all. He was just like, now this is the next step. So
one at a time.
Right.
Okay. This is good.
And so, it was just fun. Like it was really, really fun. And then when I was leaving, he basically.
Same day. So you actually did the entire thing in one go.
Oh yeah.
Like one session.
Yes. Yeah.
Mad.
Like literally one.
Guys, you can be famous in 1 second, guys.
It's not. Let's tone it down. I don't know about famous.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think
before you left.
Yeah, so before I left, he sent it to me and I almost just saw it as like a little souvenir, you know, like a little thing that I have to like remember my time
in Paris.
In Paris basically. And also he had like artists coming, I think, to, you know, record and that sort of thing. And so I left. And when I got back to the UK, and I guess this is like the interesting part, is a week after getting back, I remember seeing a sort of call out. I can't remember if it was Instagram or Twitter or where, but it was like BBC.
Were they like calling out for new creatives or something?
I think it was just like some commentary on like exploring new sounds.
Okay.
And there was like a music section on the BBC page, and I basically like submitted it. And
the next thing.
Yeah, and then a couple of days later, I get an email saying someone from BBC Sound has listened to your song Cards, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then after that, 2 days later, I get a DM from a radio host saying like, hi, I've listened to your song. I would love to play it on the radio at 10 o'clock this Saturday. And I think he gave, like, it was like the day before. So I think I had like a day's notice, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Straight from Harming to BBC radios.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so he played it. He played it on the radio, and it's so funny because when he was, it sounds like, because I listened into the session, of course, and I think there were like other far more established, you know, singers and artists and that sort of thing. And I think I was actually the new one, and he was like, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Chi? Is it Chi? Is it he? In Wales we would say he, you know. And he was like, you know, it's a very lovely, very short song though, very, very lovely sound, very soothing. And he said like it was short like 3 times, and it was just so funny to me because the reason why it's so short is because I didn't intend for it to actually end up on the radio. It was just fun, you know. I was just doing it for fun.
And it was just something that you didn't even expect to go out there. So
yeah.
How did that make you feel? Because imagine you going to Paris. One day you're just an ordinary person, just having fun in Paris. The next thing, you are the new like the rising stars with a song in Spotify.
I thought you know, it's one of those like funny stories where, you know, you're like, if the dots have to connect, so like if my flight wasn't cancelled and if I didn't get an extra day, and then I wouldn't have met this person who was like so adamant that I sing something. Like he was just so like, you know, because he was like, you know, like what do you did in a few minutes, like he was talking about the artist that he works with, and that sort of thing. He was like, you know, you did this very quickly. And it's funny when people you know, when someone says something like that, like, wow, like you did this very quickly, and you just kind of laugh it off, because I'm like, ha ha ha. And he's like, no, you need to find a studio when you go back to your where you live. So I think there's also, I don't take full credit. I think it speaks to having like people around you that push you and encourage you to like try new things.
And it's so funny because it's usually like it's the strangers that actually can put you into a certain level.
Yeah.
I'm inspired, guys. Imagine I could be just an ordinary person just walking around humming, and the next thing I'm the next singer. So you're gonna listen to Cards on YouTube and Spotify, and it's like how many minutes?
I think it's 1 minute and 28 seconds. So yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Cards by Chi Nwosu.
Chi Nwosu.
Chi Nwosu.
I was actually pronouncing that wrong again. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
the N is silent. Chi Nwosu.
I need to learn.
It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on Amazon Music. It's on all like major music streaming platforms.
So whenever you introduce yourself now, you'll be, I am Chi Nwosu.
Nwosu, yeah.
Nwosu, the new filmmaker, actress, director, and guess what? I'm also a song-writer.
Because
In town.
I'm so new to this. I'm so new to like all of this, and I'm definitely like, what's the expression? Is it a fish in big water? Fish out of water? You know what I mean? I feel like
You're fresh into the
I
music
completely
industry,
am,
yeah.
and there's so many people who have been like grinding for a long time, far more focused in on their talents and what they do and that kind of thing. So I don't think I'm like
And guess what, LMG? Time and chance happens to them all. So definitely you're on the right path. So I am super proud of you. And guys, this is really amazing to have you on radio today. It was really nice chatting with you. And I actually thought that was a match made in heaven. And I hoped for a love story at the end, but it's not always about the love story. Never, not always.
It's a friend story.
It's a friend story. Anyway, well done. I Am Igbo is out on BBC iPlayer. And
I Am Igbo it's on BBC iPlayer. It was aired on BBC Two, on BBC iPlayer. It will be there for the next year. Whoopsie. It'll be there for the next year, and my song Cards is on all
platforms. Oh, amazing. Well done. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you.